Just like me, we're both human. There's nothing special about you. If you left me for you, chances are he's going to leave you for somebody else. That's a sad reality of life because there's nothing special about you.
Hi everyone, welcome to Own Narrative Podcast by myself, Promise Makunyane. This podcast, it's about marriage and family dynamics. You know, if you'd like to be a guest on my podcast, you need to write to us on the email address that is popping on the screen. Do not forget to put your number, preferably your WhatsApp number, so that we can contact you once we vet your story. Guys, as you already know, that we do have another podcast that airs on Sunday at 6 p.m. and this particular one airs every Wednesday at 1 p.m. The other one is called The Working Wife, The Working Woman podcast, and it is about women working, women doing it for themselves. It's always good to have a man do stuff for you, but it's even better when you can do stuff for yourself. I'm quite nervous today because I'm sitting in the midst of a beauty queen. I even prepared some icebreakers because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to go right straight into the interview. I feel very much intimidated. I'm like, what am I going to say wrong? What am I going to say right? And you scared me. Ma'am, welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Finally, do you understand it's after 9 months?
Have you been counting?
I checked our chats. I'm like, this woman, I've been bugging her for 9 months, and I'm so grateful for this day.
I wouldn't call it bugging. I'd call it being, persistent and being consistent in your persistence.
Yeah.
That's English.
Yeah, I guess it's a good trade. And as we were starting the mics, I'm seeing you sitting a certain way, and I'm like, are you sitting nicely? And you're like, yeah, unless if I'm not thinking that you're sitting well, and you are poised. And I'm like, no, that's a beauty queen. You are posed like you're not sitting comfortable. I'm like, do you see how I'm just on the couch like a couch potato? And you're like this. Do you carry yourself like that every single day, or that's just who you are?
It's just who I am.
Yeah. Anyway, Sonia, we're going to start with icebreakers. Like I said, I'm quite nervous, so I'm going to just start with icebreakers so that we can ease into the conversation. As you have already heard, that my podcast is about marriage and family dynamics, so we'll just speak about all that. And obviously, people are seeing things that are here around us, the products. We're also going to delve into them as well. So the first icebreaker, if you had to teach one class on one thing, what would you teach?
Manners.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely, because I think we've lost it.
Yeah.
When I say we, obviously I'm generalizing. Mm-hmm. Myself, my sons included, haven't lost their manners.
Yeah.
But I definitely take up manners as a topic in a class, without a doubt.
Do you think I won't say, do you think you have manners? I'll ask, do you think you are, I think that's just how I have to ask it. Do you think you are a pro on manners, or do you think you know more about manners, or it's just important for you, for people to have manners?
It's important for us to uphold our manners.
Cool.
Especially when you know that no man is an island.
Yeah.
You have to be amongst other people. You have to coexist with other people. You have to interact with other people. I think it should be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That it should come naturally. And when you look at how our grandparents brought us up, no matter how poor they were, manners were very important. It didn't matter how rich you were as well. Manners are equally important, particularly when you're wealthy, because we all know once you make it financially, you think you've succeeded.
Yeah.
Manners go out of the window. So I think it's very important to continue to remind ourselves that, as the saying goes, manners maketh the man.
Very profound. If you could eliminate one thing about your routine, what would it be? Like your daily routine?
Eliminate one thing.
Yeah, about your daily routine.
It's a tough one because it just happens to be the one thing that butters my bread.
Okay.
You know? It's overworking myself.
Yes, actually.
You know, my little one, well, I call him little because he's the last born.
How old is he?
I only have 2 sons, but the little one will remain little to me, right?
Yeah.
Even if he's 40 and married with his own family.
Yeah.
He's 16.
Oh my gosh.
So there's been times where he comes back from school because I work from home.
Yeah.
So he would have left me in the morning in the study. He comes home from school at like 4 p.m. and I'm still on my laptop.
Oh.
And then he says to me, I don't even see a teacup. I don't see a side plate to show that you had a sandwich or muffin or something.
Yeah.
And then he unplugs my laptop and he takes it to his bedroom for an hour and he says to me, go and eat.
Oh my God.
Only then do I get out of, the study and go and eat. So I think a habit that I just need to keep it on check.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I overwork myself. I work an average 14 hours a day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We'll get to that actually. It's quite interesting. Would you rather be the funniest or the smartest in the room?
The funniest. For sure.
Do you have any reason?
Being the smartest, think about nerdy, when you think smart, you think nerdy. And when you think nerdy, you're thinking of your professori, when we were in high school, they have, double lens, spectacles and, they used to be teased. You're thinking of a
Boring.
professor in a lab with that white coat and the hair is looking untidy. It looks like it's exploded from all the experiments that they're busy with in the lab,
Yeah.
I don't think that's fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather be funny.
Interesting. What is the best advice you ever received?
Sure. The best advice that I've ever received was for me to look after myself.
Okay.
Because I think we, especially as mothers, we natural nurturers.
Yeah.
We always prioritize our
Other
kids,
people.
our partners, and we last on the list. And then I think for me, the penny dropped when I flew for the first time. And if you remember the announcement by the stewardess or the pilot, I think it's the stewardess, reading from the manual that during an emergency, when the oxygen mask drops, you're supposed to administer it to yourself first and then to your child. Because logic is that if it were the other way around, you put the mask on the child and then maybe there wasn't enough time to put it on yourself, the child might at some point get irritated by this foreign object on their face and they might just, you know how a child...
Grab it out.
When something is, especially when they're claustrophobic, they want to pull it off. So if you had done the other way around and put the mask on the child first and then you pass out, the child's going to die as well.
Yeah.
But if it's the other way around, you put it on yourself, then you can now ensure
the child.
that it stays secure on your child's face. That should get a lot of women thinking. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you said it because I think I'm not speaking for everyone, but as a mom, you'll first just grab it to your child and you won't even think about the things that you're saying because that's so true, you know? Wow. Okay, last one. Carrot cake or cheesecake?
If you had asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have said cheesecake. But now I don't like cheesecake anymore. I don't think I've eaten cheesecake in more than a year and a half, and I'm being honest. I hate looking at restaurant menus, especially the dessert section. When I see the word cheesecake, and I'm like. So to answer your question, carrot cake.
Okay. Hi guys, I am super excited. I just received a parcel from my friends at Brazmata. I can't wait to see what is in the box, and obviously I would like you to unbox with me. There is a note that will start by reading. your day gets better. We are thrilled to announce that we are officially launching our Brazmata Barista quality coffee exclusively available at selected Cafe 365 at Engine. Brazmata Coffee is set to deliver extra convenience, elevated experience, and more reasons to choose Engine Cafe 365 as your destination for great coffee. Obviously, this coffee beans came at the right time where my container was empty. So not only am I drinking Brazmata at Engine, I'm also drinking it at home. I don't know if I should, let me just continue on this specific one because I'm going to lose my train of thought. Was cheesecake a choice of a dessert or a cake for your household?
For me personally, I specifically enjoyed it if there was a dash of, that liqueur that has that massive elephant on the bottle.
Oh, yes.
I'm not going to mention their brand because
they're not paying us.
And I'm not here to advertise them for free,
Yeah.
you're right, they should pay you,
They
right?
should, yeah.
But we all know which liqueurs that, so if a couple of shots were put in the dough before the actual cake is put in the dough is put in the oven.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed a baked cheesecake. I've never liked a fridge cheesecake. So for me, that infusion was heaven. And for me specifically, it was a request that I used to make for my birthday.
Okay.
Salted caramel brownies. So delicious. And then the marula flavored cheesecake. So I always used to look forward to that being baked for my birthday.
By your ex-husband?
Yes.
Okay, let's get into little Sonia. We're going to get to that at the end or towards like in the middle of our conversation. But let's start with little Sonia. Tell us about little Sonia. Where is she from? Your background, what you used to do, parents, family. Please take us through your childhood.
I'm a firstborn child. Grew up in Pimble, Soweto. Grew up in a 4-roomed house with, I think, about 14 cousins and the grandparents. Yeah. So you can imagine 14 cousins and uncle and aunts and then the grandparents. We're breathing on top of each other. We want to kill each other every now and again.
Yes.
Because someone has finished the bread before the others could eat, or someone has decided to eat a whole loaf of bread and not being considerate towards the others. So it was like, walala wasala, if you're not back home from school early enough, you're not going to have bread left and then you have to wait for dinner. We used to use a Vascom, wheel cab, as we call it. And if you were too slow to grab it in the morning to prepare to go to school, then chances are you're going to have to put deodorant when you haven't washed, just so that you don't smell otherwise at school because you missed the cue. So that's my childhood. And I look back now, with all the luxuries that I have, one day I reminded my sons about how privileged they are, to have their own ensuite.
Yeah.
It's a luxury, but every now and again, I take them to my mom's house in Pimble so that they can also queue. Well, lucky for them, mom has got a, bathroom in the house, so they won't really get to see my struggles.
Yeah.
But I take them there just to humble them every now and again. But yeah, colorful childhood. I was teased about my very dark complexion. As you can see, I'm very dark and I'm proudly so. They used to tease me, bully me, call me Mansu, Yamani, and I was very tall, I was very thin, at some point I was Munang, Mosquito.
Yes.
So all sorts of names. And I think that turnaround came when I started winning beauty pageants. I used to have a great voice.
You do
I don't know what happened over the years because I used to sing. I had a good voice apparently, and so singing competitions gave me that confidence. Because then when you start winning beauty pageants and singing competitions, you're the star of the community. Everyone knows you. Everyone wants to be around you.
Yeah. When do you now start? When was your first beauty contest. We used to call them contests
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah, the
Back in
contest.
the village,
Yeah,
contest.
yeah.
When was your first beauty contest?
If my memory serves me well, I think around 8 or 9. Yeah, that's the earliest memory of beauty contests when I started. But I think singing competitions, I might have started as early as 6. Obviously, the voice wasn't,
Polished.
It wasn't polished. But I used to enjoy singing for people. I would stop people by fitela go strateng and then
Perform. Put up a show.
when I sing for them. It's like that's so random, but I was a kid, so people enjoyed that. They gave me their time.
And then you grow up. Did you study further, like university?
So after matric, Mum did not have money to send me to varsity.
Yeah.
My first option was architecture. The second one was mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
And then it turned out the only thing that she could afford was an executive secretarial course. So it was a 1-year certificate.
Yeah.
Me being me, because I've always been ambitious. I was never one to sit at home for a year without having a plan with my life and watch the sun go up or down, So I thought, let me enroll for this course. At least I'll have a qualification, some qualification.
Yeah.
Do something with your life while I apply for bursaries, because I had been applying. So after that year, then I started temping. We used to call it temping. I don't know how you look very young. So I don't think you know what temping is.
I know. Get a piece job.
Yeah, exactly. So it was not unusual to go temp. You holding space for somebody who's on maternity leave, for example, or sick leave. So you're here for a week, standing up for somebody as a secretary or receptionist or switchboard operator. So I did that after the certificate. And then that's when somebody approached me to, enroll with a modeling agency. And the temping had to stop because now I had to go to auditions. So then I became a full-time model. And then as the years went by, after 8 years of full-time modeling, that urge to carry on with my studies was still with me, even throughout modeling. And it was always, in my head that I need to pursue my varsity studies the same way that I had planned when I was younger.
Yeah.
So after 8 years of modeling full-time, I decided to enroll full-time for my degree.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine how hard it was.
How old are you then?
I was 22,
Yeah.
which, looking back, it was a perfect age because I was mature and disciplined enough to attend my lectures, and also because I was paying for my tuition. So therefore, there was no chance that I was going to be wasting. Because, when it's someone else's money, it's easy for you to take it for granted because you didn't work hard for it. But because now I had to put money aside for my tuition and textbooks, and textbooks are very expensive. So I stayed dedicated. So, when they say God's timing is important, I relate such stories that me going into the lecture room as a 22-year-old amongst your 18, 19-year-olds, it was perfect for me. Because I stayed disciplined and I finished my 3-year degree in 3 years as a full-time student. And then later on, when we hit level 5, COVID lockdown, Harvard brought out or introduced online courses, and they were for free. I think there were over 2,500 different courses.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, it's a year certificate. We're on hard lockdown. There isn't really much that one can do. So why not enroll? Okay. So I'm sitting here today. I qualified with a distinction with a Harvard qualification in rhetoric.
Oh, wow.
So that's me. I've got a BCom marketing and business management degree, and I'm a Harvard graduate.
Yes, like not just the Harvard.
Harvard, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you think you and I'm asking that because for me, I'm not an academic. I just graduated because it's like, go to school, do this. I'm not an academic. Like, if I would really have to go back to school now, I don't know what it will take. And for you to go back to school, it gets me to ask, are you like an academic? Like, do you like books? Do you like school? Or you just want to acquire knowledge? It's not like I like studying, but I have to study.
I'm an avid reader. I think by my bedside, there's about 3 different books because I'm also wired like that. My brain, I will hardly ever stick to one book by my bedside and read it from beginning to end. I'll have 3 different titles, and depending on my mood, I finish off where I left off the night before of any of the chapters. So that's me. My late uncle instilled the love of reading when I was a young girl in Pimville. He was the type of man that would, on a Sunday morning, while everyone else is still asleep, he goes out to buy all newspapers, all Sunday newspaper. If it's printed on a Sunday, my uncle buys it. And he sits under a tree with his coffee and he reads all of them front to back. When I say from page 1 to the last page of every newspaper. And that would take him half a day.
Oh, wow.
And he enjoyed that. And I used to marvel at that. And so it's become my ritual that every Sunday I get the newspapers with my coffee. And I'm sitting there remembering my uncle. I'm not an academic per se. I don't consider myself an academic because I think I would have gone on to do my honors,
PhD.
my master's, my PhD. I would take up any course that is available, and if the schedule suits me, if it's flexible, if I can accomplish it in the time frame that I think is doable for me, I'll always enroll. I will never say no. If an opportunity came for me to study, I would fit it into my schedule. That's just me. I'm curious about learning new things, and I believe for as long as you live, you should continue to study something. Don't get comfortable.
Mrs. S.A., what year is it? You're a second runner-up. What year is that?
Miss S.A., 2001. When Vanessa Kerera won. It was an amazing experience. It further boosted my self-confidence and self-esteem. And I think the networking and the context that I got, I have a very powerful black book now, partly because of Miss South Africa. So what a lot of people don't realize is that it's not just a beauty pageant. It's what you do with it. The connections that you make. If you a go-getter, if you're somebody who's as ambitious as me, the people that you meet at all these events, I mean, you're meeting top industry movers and shakers. You're meeting izinjazekini, as I call it. You're meeting the top dogs of different industries, people who are influential and very respected. So if you use it in the right manner, if you channel it in the right manner, it's a powerful thing to be. Absolutely.
So, what year is it you meet Matthew Booth?
It was in the year 2000.
I've seen an interview. Please tell me if the story is wrong. No, actually, you corrected them, but I laughed when I heard the interview saying that, so you were a nanny when you met Matthew Booth, and you're like, no, I wasn't a nanny. I was just helping take care of somebody's child. Do you remember that interview on Kaya FM?
Yes, I mean, I don't take anything away from nannies. We can never underestimate their value because they help us to carry on with our careers, right? They look after the most, I don't want to use the word valuable.
Precious, I don't know.
But for a lack of a better word, you know, if your house burned down, I'd like to think you want to grab your child first before your pearls, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. So I just did not like how the story was written. I don't even remember what publication. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that I've always been about reporting that is factual and that is true. And I felt the need to correct them that, at the time I was a full-time model.
Yeah.
And I had offered to look after a 5-year-old at the time, whose father was going to somewhere outside of South Africa, but in Africa, to play a football tournament. And he had this amazing, gorgeous, well-behaved, well-mannered daughter, and he didn't have anyone else to look after in South Africa because the mum was in Paris.
Yeah.
So I offered. So how I became a nanny, I'm not sure, but it was merely just saying, no, I was looking after a friend's child. Yeah. If I were a nanny, I was a nanny. There's nothing to be ashamed.
But we must just report facts.
Factual and true.
Yeah. So Matthews come back with this guy, and that's how you guys met each other, and then you guys kicked off a relationship. Prior to him, had you dated a white man before?
I was actually engaged to a white man before I met him. It was a short engagement. I think I allowed for the ring to be put on my finger out of excitement that somebody loves me enough to want to marry me. And I think I said yes. And then a few weeks later, I was like looking at this ring and I'm like, what have you committed to? What have you done? Do you really want this? Do you really want to get married?
Yeah.
Because then it means the children might follow, You still want to continue with your modeling. So do you really want all that?
Yeah.
And when reality set in, I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not ready for marriage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasted your time.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm pushing my career and I don't see marriage fitting in that picture at the moment. And especially because I knew he wanted kids at some point and I was nowhere near ready to have a child at the time. So yeah, I was engaged before.
Okay. And what made you to say yes to Matthew, like to marry him? Was it like years later, or is...
It was years later. We met, I think I was 20, a few months short of my 21st.
21st?
Yeah, 21st. And
so when we were studying, you were in a relationship with Matthew already?
Yeah, I remember I started studying when I was 22.
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we met when I was 20, going on very, very close to 21. He was 22 because we were just a year apart. He was the first person that I felt comfortable enough to take to my home in Pimble because then I could, because the 21st birthday is when you get the key.
The key.
Yeah, so the key sort of like says, okay, wajola lemang type of thing,
yes.
And therefore it doesn't seem taboo anymore to say, Mama, this is so-and-so, this is my boyfriend, because I grew up in a very strict family. So I think, when you know.
Yeah.
You can you can have proposals from 10 different guys and you can say no to 10 of them.
Yeah.
So those proposals can come this year from 10 different men, and then a month later, I meet someone else, and then I'm just head over heels, and we just connect in a way that I didn't connect with the other guys. It happens. I mean, you have guys who never propose. I mean, Ronaldo, how many years has Ronaldo been with this woman? They've got 5 kids, the joke around, people saying, just marry this child. But what people don't know is that maybe he has proposed a few times and then the woman's like, no, marriage is not for me.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm not ready. And people think just because it's Ronaldo, when the engagement comes, people think, there's no ways I would say no to Ronaldo. He's a human being. There's nothing godly about him. He's a human being at the end of the day. Yes, he's put out there as a football god, but at the end of the day, he's human like you and me. There are women out there who will reject Ronaldo. That's a fact. So then, you get women saying, she's mad, she's crazy, but you don't know her reasons.
Yeah.
With all that money and successes that Ronaldo has, she might not even feel the need to marry at all, despite having kids.
Yeah.
Some women are happy not to get married, even though they have kids.
Yeah.
And some people don't believe in marriage. Some people come from broken marriages, therefore they remember all that they went through, and therefore they not interested in marriage. They're like, I saw how my parents' marriage, tore apart the family and how it was toxic, and therefore I never ever want to get married. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, this thing that we should get married, have families, and be crazy over somebody, that if they proposed, when you have guys who stay with, a woman for 15 years, they don't propose, and then they break up, and then a month later they meet up with somebody and they propose.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you stay 15 years cohabiting, and then you get married after 15 years. 3 months later, you divorce. Things happen. That's reality.
Have you always had this mindset around a marriage, around family? Or this happened after your divorce? Have you always just thought that marriage is not the end goal, that people that don't want to get married and stuff like that?
Before marriage, even during marriage, I actually, wrote a blog. I've got my own blog, Opinion Booth blog.
Okay.
And one of the posts on the blog, the title is "Marriage is Not an Achievement." And if you look at when I wrote that, it was during my marriage.
Okay.
And mainly because that is a fact. Marriage is not an achievement. We grew up, I had my first child at the age of 26.
Okay.
The community, my neighbors were calling me, names, Nyopa or something.
Yes.
Yeah, in
a barren
Nyopa
woman.
in Zulu, yeah, Nyopa in Setswana, and because in their twisted minds, which is very silly, and very short-minded. I should have had a child as early as their daughters had children. That was not my path, because first of all, I was not going to have a child if I were not sure that the father's not going to do a slicer tsotsi. I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to fall pregnant, I would have known that this guy, even if we break up, I've seen how responsible he is.
Yeah.
Therefore, even if we break up for whatever reason, he will continue to be a father and a present father, not just the one who pays maintenance every month and then sees a child that Christmas. No, I wanted a father who was going to be active and present. So I knew I was having I was going to start a family and be married to somebody who was responsible. And I still maintain that today. We divorced, but when it comes to our sons, he's present and he's active in their lives. And that just shows you that I knew that I'm not just going to fall pregnant by any guy. It has to be with somebody who's responsible enough. And that's exactly what I did. Had my first child at 26.
I love that. Because it tells us the kind of man Booth is beyond you guys' marriage, So, in the marriage, what kind of marriage do you guys have? I personally knew you because Matthew Booth, Sonia Booth, right? And when I started to now follow you and search you, and it was when you broke out with a series of Instagram post. Before we get there, tell me about the actual marriage. How was your marriage? What kind of a marriage did you guys have?
It was a beautiful marriage.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful union, a beautiful family.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly why a lot of people were shocked when they saw what they saw. But remember, you only get to see what I post, If I post my beautiful car, beautiful home, social media can be a fake. A fake life,
it's
right?
It's fickle, yeah.
I could be living in this palace without you knowing that it's actually not even my palace, right?
Yeah.
I can be in dreamland. It's a fairy tale, which is a pity because there's young girls out there who think that it's the norm to live this lifestyle without them even wanting to work towards it or thinking that it's manna from heaven, it comes easy.
Yeah.
So I think, social media, if you have children, it can be a dangerous thing. So I'm not saying that I personally portrayed a picture of this happy family, but people did not know our life, beyond the Instagram. I mean, you saw us only at events. So you thought we were the perfect couple.
Yeah.
Perfect couple does not exist.
No.
You have your Mama Letambulu and Tate Kaifa Siminya. I think they've been married for more than 50 years. And the last time I saw them, they were still besotted with each other.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
they're a beautiful couple. They are couple goals. Is their life perfect? No. Is their marriage perfect? No. So yes, what you saw out there, whether on social media or if you saw us in public, we were living good. Life was good. There was love. Two amazing boys came out of that beautiful union. And I could never, ever speak badly about that. The same way that I could never say that he's a useless father. I could never do that, because then that wouldn't also not sit well with my sons. You know, because that's their father. But of course, if he did a slice at Sotsi and he didn't pay maintenance, I'll go to pay your pap geld.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I trust you.
I will, because I would not be ashamed to do that, because do right by your child.
By yours.
So it's sad we have shows like that, but they're there for a reason. Because if you do a slice at Sotsi, someone should come after you to remind you that you have a responsibility.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not sure I'll go to pap geld. It was just a joke, but I would find a way. I'd find a way, legal avenue to make sure I chase after maintenance. It definitely won't be pay your pap geld, because, I don't think I can run that fast. I've seen people running after, the baby daddies. Yeah, I can run, but
run after
but
an
I'm not.
athlete.
It would ruin my makeup. Yeah. So I wouldn't. But yeah.
So when in the marriage, in your marriage, you start. How long are you in the marriage when we knew about the cheesecake? How long in the marriage were you guys?
Married, I think that December, prior to my social media posts, I think we were going on year 16 marriage.
Oh my God.
23 years together. Yeah.
When I hear such stories, I've just only been married for 6 years this year. And when I hear that people that have been married for 16 years.
Yes, it would have been 16 years in December, but 23 together.
What do you think? I don't know if I should ask, because I'm like, if we would pass so many years, why would we just end on the 16th year,
Remember, you're not in control. That's the danger that humans make. You are with me now for an hour. Chances are you and I will never meet again. That's a real possibility.
Yeah.
And in this hour, you and I met for a reason, for whatever purpose and whatever reason. It's for me to impart whatever knowledge and vice versa. And we go our separate ways. You meet somebody else maybe for 5 minutes in a lift. You strike up a very quick conversation. There's a lesson there.
Yeah.
I don't believe in coincidences. So even if it's someone behind you in a queue at a grocery store, you're pushing a trolley, or at a bank, and you happen to interact. Sometimes if you're good on energy, I'm big on energy. Sometimes you might have left the house feeling down.
Yeah.
And then you just so happen to bump into someone else's trolley. And remember, you were feeling down and depressed. And then that person just apologizes. Oh, I'm sorry. And then they smile at you. And then they smile. The most automatic thing to do when someone smiles at you is to smile back, unless you're really just an ugly person. Or you're just horrible looking.
Yeah.
So then most natural thing would then be for you to lighten up because you were feeling so down. But because this person showed you kindness by smiling, because smiling is kindness, because you just made my day, right? So there's a reason why I bumped into this lady's trolley. It wasn't planned. I didn't plan to bump into a trolley. Someone cutting you off, while you're driving. You get upset for no reason, and then you start speaking to yourself, was that really necessary for you to swear at that person? No, it was not. It's like just lighten up a bit, So coming back to your statement that how do you easily let go of a 16-year-old marriage, there was never any guarantee from anybody or from the man above or from your ancestors, if you believe in ancestry, that you were going to be with this person forever. What I do believe in is that you get to meet one soulmate in your lifetime. That's my belief. So the fact that I'm here, divorced, chances are that was not my soulmate. Because if it were my soulmate, we would still be together. But having said that, I've met people who have been together, broken up, and then find each other again. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to that now. Definitely not, because it's still very raw, from both ends. But I do believe that I'm yet to connect with my soulmate.
Be it could be him.
Yeah, well, my soulmate. I'm not even wanting to mention him or anybody else. My soulmate, period. The point I'm trying to make is that it ended because it was time for it to end. As difficult as it were, at some point you have to come to the realization and acceptance that it is what it is. And the sad thing would be for me to hold on to that, because you can't receive anything when I've got both my palms closed and you want to give me something, right? I have to open up so that you put something else here, right? In order for me to look ahead, turning back if I'm running, turning back will only just delay me, even if it's by a few seconds. But because I'm still looking over there, I'm not looking ahead. Is there going to be progress there? No, they won't, because I want to move forward, right? So I think I've answered your question that we like planning so much. This picket fence, 2 kids, amazing, beautiful family. I'm going to be married to this person forever. Nobody has got that guarantee for nobody.
So sad, but let's speak about the day Matthew baked a cheesecake. It was the day before your son's birthday or the eve of your son's birthday? What day was it?
Day before Nathan's birthday.
Yeah. Did you know that he was baking, or you guys were sleeping and he was baking in the middle of the night?
So what I don't want to do is to relive or retell what I posted. The main reason why I posted was so that I put it out there in my own words so that I'm not misquoted.
Yeah.
Because I could have easily gone to a newspaper or a magazine.
Yeah.
But then there would have been risk of my story not being told the way, as in when it happened, things could have been twisted, right?
That's why we have podcasts like Own Narrative and we're asking the questions.
So I think, if anybody really, really was interested in knowing the nitty-gritties of what went on, things that I posted stay in the clouds forever. You can always just Google it, but I refuse to go back there because I've moved on.
Yeah.
And I'm focusing on things that pay my bills. But to answer your question, as I posted, the ingredients had been in the fridge for, I think, a week.
Yeah.
So I knew a cheesecake was coming because I know the ingredients.
Yeah.
You know. So I knew it was coming, and of course I assumed it was for Nathan's birthday, and that's where I'm going to end with this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. So did you, not to answer about the nitty-gritties of what happened and who said what, I just want to understand that, what was going on in your marriage. Was your marriage already ending? Because I've heard the other woman alluding, it's almost like there was no marriage anymore or something like that, right? But I want to understand that, did the cheesecake really end your marriage, or your marriage was really ending and it was just like a push?
Whew. Just like any other marriage that has got challenges,
Yeah.
including the one where people have been married for 50 years or over. And remember, I spoke about there not being a perfect marriage. Ours was not perfect either. Ours had challenges. Did the cheesecake push? No, it did not. Am I going to speak on or comment on another woman's narrative? Absolutely not. I will repeat. I will not speak of anybody or anything that does not benefit me. I am so moving forward with my life that my focus is on Noah, because Big Brother's old enough now. He's an adult. So my sole focus is on Noah and my brand. Nothing and nobody else.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in who says what. I'm not interested in what does what. I am a very focused woman, and nothing is going to distract me because I'm chasing paper. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing that you're very steadfast now about your brand and where you're going and what you need to what you got to do, right? Looking back, why did you act like that? Because you now and you then, it's just two different people, right? So maybe I would want to understand, why did you act like that then?
What do you mean?
Like, why did you go public with it? I'm assuming that you guys had always had issues, right? You had issues. 16 years is a lot of time. You had issues, but you never came out public like you did with the cheesecake situation. So what pushed you at that time for you to go public with it and not to just say, okay, this is a family matter, I'm going to sort it out. I'm going to think about Noah, I'm going to think about my sons, and I'm also going to protect my baby daddy or my husband. And yeah.
I was hurtful. Simple as that. I'm not going to sit here and try and, feel sorry for myself. Oh, poor me. Oh, no. I was hurtful of the gaslighting, full stop, kipeto, finish and clar. That's my answer.
You mean were you hurtful of the gaslighting in the marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where I'm leaving it regarding my marriage, because I really do not want to continue in that aspect.
Right. No, that's fine. We respect that. But I want to ask, not bad. So I want to ask, when I reached out to you, you said you were still in the middle of your divorce. It was still undergoing and all the legal matters that you were busy with. Are you currently legally divorced? Are you divorced now?
Officially divorced for 2 months.
Oh, for 2 months.
Yes.
Do we say congratulations?
Congratulations to me, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where's the champagne?
Cheers to that. I think we'll cheers with that. Yeah. You'll have to tell us about that,
absolutely.
Actually. Yeah. So are you still a Booth? Are you going to change back into your surname, or are you going to keep Booth?
According to Home Affairs,
you are a Booth.
I'm Booth, yeah.
Are you willing to change? I love asking women that are going outside the marriages if they want to change. I've got one friend who does not want to change their surname for the sake of her children, so that they don't have separate surnames with the children. So she's like, I'm going to keep my ex-husband's surname. How about you? Are you going to keep both?
So I wanted to revert back to my maiden surname, Bule, because I'm proudly Bule. If you look at my Instagram, I've got all 4 surnames there. I think my Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Bule, Bonyani, Munyani, Msibi. Paternal and maternal. I honor both of them. I recognize and acknowledge both families.
Yeah.
So I wanted to revert back to Bule, and my mom was against it. And mom is someone whose opinion I value the most, and her advice will remain.
What was her reason?
She mentioned the kids as well, and that reverting back would be almost like me disowning them in a way, because that surname was brought on by me marrying their father, and of course I'm the one that brought them to this world. I'm the reason they ended up with that surname, because had I not brought them here, had I not been that vessel that was chosen to bring them here, they wouldn't have been born, obviously, but they wouldn't have ended up with that surname, had I married or not married their father, because whether married or not, maybe they would have taken his father's surname. We don't know, because we ended up marrying anyway. Yeah.
So you choose to remain a Booth. Okay. Now these products, I want us for the last 5 minutes, 7 to 5 minutes, to speak about the products. How do you now think about starting these products? What was your first product after the whole scandal that happened? And you thought, okay, let me capitalize on it. What was your thought process?
So remember, I made mention of my marketing and business management degree. I've always been about brands. I've always studied how brands, get built up and how they're sustained and how they excel or how they fall. Because you've had great brands falling. So I think for me, it was a no-brainer, really. I think I sat that December sitting down and wondering, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
You need to make a living. You need to feed yourself and your sons, because it was still very much chaotic and tension-fueled. So I had to be creative and come up with ways that would feed me and my sons. And I share that unapologetically, unashamedly, that when you're a woman, you make a plan. What was my plan? Marula Cheesecake Passion. The name speaks for itself. We know where the cheesecake came from. There was Cheesecake Gate, apparently, a hashtag, right? That was trending for like a week. I didn't even realize that because I was off social media for like 2 weeks. The marula, of course, comes from that liqueur that I used to enjoy in my cheesecake. And then the passion, a no-brainer, right? That's how the brand came about.
What was your first product?
My first product was an alcoholic ice cream, and then alcoholic frozen yogurt, and then the liqueur. And then, what else? Alcoholic popcorn over here.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, alcoholic popcorn. And then alcoholic lollipop will come up. I've had people saying they can't wait for the alcoholic lollipop because they're going to be eating it in the office during work hours.
Like
no one's going to know they've got alcohol. Just like my popcorn, people keep them in their office drawers and they snack on them. The boss doesn't know that it's
alcohol.
Yep. Yeah. So adults are loving me right now.
No, we have to, like, even with kids, like, you'll just stash your thing because obviously they're going to want them. You'll just stash them very far away and just keep eating bit by bit.
You keep them in your bedside drawer.
Yeah. I'm going to just go back a bit. I just want to get a bit of context. Not even a bit of context, just to clear. Because as much as people are saying that we don't want to address, it's not address, it's just to clear something. Prior to you seeing the cheesecake, did you know about this affair? Or you found out about it?
I suspected.
Okay.
Yeah, I suspected from February of that year. And then I just started accumulating evidence.
And meeting with the husband of the other woman. Are you guys still friends?
We still talk.
Do you still have coffee together?
No, not coffee together. He's in Cape Town. And whenever he's in Joburg, I'm not available because I'm. You should see my diary.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you haven't been able to get me here for 9 months. Yeah, from here. I've got another appointment. I'm hectically busy, and I came here even though I have flu. I don't know if people can hear me being nasal. It's not me trying to be fancy. I'm not trying to be Harvard on people.
Yes.
I have flu, and I hope you don't get it. But yeah, that's it's me. I'm very busy. Yeah. I'm not complaining because I did ask for these opportunities from the men above and my sisters that they must continue to bless me with opportunities. I'm very grateful.
Why are you working very hard? Are you not a well-kept ex-wife? Did the divorce settlement not settle well, or what? Why are you? It seems to me, I don't know you, that you are working very hard, as you're saying. I work very hard.
No, to clarify, there's no alimony. And I take pride in looking after myself. I do not want to have to ask a man for money to buy deodorant or to buy me perfume. If they decide to buy it for me, of course I won't say no.
Yeah.
If you decide to pay for my hair as a treat, of course I won't say no. If you decide to treat me to a spa day, I won't say no. It's a treat, right? But I take pride in being able to do things for myself. But to answer your question, moreover, I work because I enjoy what I do. I love the response that people have toward the brand, and that keeps me going. But I've always been that person. I started selling lollipops and popcorn in primary when I was 8 years old. I've got entrepreneurial blood. It's just me. Yeah, I get bored easily. They can never be sitting around where I'm involved. Even when I'm supposed to be, calm, chilling at home, I'll get up after 5 minutes to do something.
Yeah.
I'm a busybody.
Okay, I get that. And what is your conversations now with your husband? Sorry. What are the conversations between you guys? How often do you guys speak? Do you speak?
There are no conversations because there's no need for conversations. We'll continue to co-parent.
How do you guys co-parent without conversations?
Oh, I thought you were talking about conversations as in like, hey, babe,
No.
how's the single life going type of thing? No.
What did you eat today, babe?
No, sorry. No, none of that. No, we communicate where it regards our sons
Children.
and anything that has got to do with our properties that we co-own. Other than that, there's no reason to talk, really. I can, if I want to talk about the weather, I'll ask my neighbor. I don't even know what my neighbor looks like, and I've been there for 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you keep the house? Are you and the kids at the house, at the marital home?
Myself and our youngest are still in the primary residence. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, cool. And do you have a car? Did I read somewhere where you said you don't have a car or something?
Yeah, you won't believe it. Remember, I spoke about God's timing.
Yeah.
I sold my car a day after Noah's birthday last year. He's a spring baby. I did that to stock up for December with my liqueur because sense prevailed that I was not going to eat a car. But if I sell my car and I stock up for the booze season, which is December, I will use those sales to feed myself and my sons. It was the best decision that I ever made. And I'm here today with 5 editions of my liqueur.
Oh my gosh.
Mainly because the selling of my car afforded me enough stock to sell and rebottle and to sell and rebottle. Sold out on the 2nd edition.
Oh my God.
Sold out on the black, which is the 1st edition. Have very limited stock of the gold. Red, still tika ring sale with supply as well. So on Friday, bottling another 200 of that.
Missy.
So in a very short space of time, in 5 months, I actually brought out 5 different editions of my liqueur. It shows you my hustle.
No, it's hustling. Curated by Sonia. Marula Cheesecake Passion. Bottle. How much is this bottle?
Only $5.90.
Where can people get it?
It's a craft liqueur. I only bottle 200 at a time. The distillery is on Kola Drive, Melrose Arch. You're able to pop in. You can do a distillery tour. You can also buy it online. We deliver anywhere in the country to your door within 2 days, joburgdistillingcompany.com. Or you can just type the name Marula Cheesecake Passion on Google and the hits will come. Very easy to find. First page, first hit. That's how much we're working.
Ha! Atong, turning lemons into lemonade. Do you have any parting ways to side chicks? Yes, please. Words to side chicks.
Words to side chicks.
You can tell them in that camera if you.
Just like me, we're both human. There's nothing special about you. If you left me for you, chances are he's going to leave you for somebody else. That's a sad reality of life because there's nothing special about you.
Drops like here. And that's so true. There is just to hop on what you're saying, there is this public relationship. It's a man who was in a relationship with a woman, and then this guy now is dating this influencer, left the woman, and then I don't know if you know this story. I think you are following. Yes,
I think I know the story.
Yeah. So it's what you're saying, that there's nothing special about you.
No, there really isn't. There really isn't. And the sad reality about relationships as well is that where two people met, especially when two people are married and then they go on and have an affair, there can never be trust. Because remember, you were cheating, he was cheating.
Yeah.
So two cheaters come together. There can never be trust. And without trust, there's no foundation for a relationship. So therefore, it's doomed before it even began. Fact.
And that's so true. Because it's so true, because we are only looking at it from the husband cheating his wife. We're not looking on the side chick also cheating whoever that she's with.
Whether married or not.
Yeah. Or knowing that this man is married and you... Such a crazy thing.
We all know how the story ends. Come on, we've seen it time and time again, like the story you just related now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my own mother went through that.
Yeah.
There's nothing unique about myself and my mother. Almost most of my friends are divorced, young, hot, and I've got a hot friend.
Yeah. You are hot yourself.
So thank you. You're so sweet. So... And it's not even about being hot.
Yeah,
It's about the fact that there is nothing special about you. Nada.
It's so crazy.
Nada.
Just wait for your 10.
Nothing special about you.
Are these your books? Please speak about the books.
So my first published title was How to Reinvent Yourself and Stay Relevant. It's on personal branding. The second is a memoir, Surviving ICU.
We didn't even talk about you surviving ICU.
Yeah, I don't want to go back there. It's a very sad read. It's a depressing book. You don't want to read it when you're already feeling down, because then you're gonna finish a whole box of tissues. 2 years of bliss, 18 years of better. There's 12 different women. I touch on financial, physical, physiological, psychological, emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Cyber stalking, cyber bullying. So that's me. 3 published and 2 unpublished titles because I'm not ready.
Where can they get these books?
They can get them online, soniabooth.com.
Are you one of those women in there?
I am, but I won't tell you which one. You will have to read the whole book and you still won't know
which
who
one
is me.
Yeah.
The only people who know are my mother and my very, very close friend who's not a friend. She's a sister.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 people that know. And I only told them under the condition that we're not going to tell anybody else, but just so that at least there's two people who know, which is Sonia in the book. But yeah, Sonia's story is here.
Why do you think, we've run out of time, why do you think women, for example, when you are in the marriage, you conceal a lot, even though they don't serve you, like you conceal a lot inside the marriage. Like you say that you now started speaking because you were hurtful, meaning that you've been just building up. Why do you think we do that?
We grew up with mothers whose generation was Tubegazela.
Yeah.
And many of them die young, or they age before they age. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You look at a woman who's 50, and then you look at her skin. O trapile ke life. O trapile ke monna, o trapile ke life, o trapile ke dinyatsi, gore o trapile ke everything. O trapa ke gore tshwantse a ire dinner mara monna teng since a tsamaile ka Friday a lo reka mincemeat a so boe ke Monday ke long weekend. You know what I mean? Mara tshwantse a ire plan to present dinner. And then you're thinking, how am I going to present dinner? Because we agreed that I'm going to stay home and look after the kids, be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. And there's no meat for me to cook. So I'm stressing over that. So I'm 50 and I look the way they did. Here I am. Look at me. I'm 45. Do you see how fabulous I am?
Yeah. She looks 18.
And I'm going to look like this when I'm 60.
Yeah.
Because I look after myself and I'm putting myself first.
You see, my story, obviously you don't know me, I'm telling you about myself. My thing is that I want women inside marriages to think, because when you're in marriages, you can just think like, it's just about the man, the kids. And I want myself to think about myself while I'm inside the marriage and not wait for myself to go outside and start preaching self-love, choosing yourself. Why can't I choose myself when I'm inside the marriage? Why can't I prioritize myself when I'm inside the marriage? Because I don't want to be this businesswoman that has no husband at the end of the day or has no partner. So I don't know why we fail to see that you can be great, choose yourself, prioritize yourself, and still be married. Like, they can coexist.
Absolutely.
But I think men are making it difficult for women to actually be great, and then...
I can easily say we make it difficult for ourselves by not prioritizing ourselves.
Yes,
if
true.
you're going to wait for a man to put you out there or to say it's okay to do 1, 2, 3, you only have yourself to blame. I'm at a stage in my life now, I the minute I see a red flag from, a potential, I slice her very fast.
Yeah.
I block.
Yes.
I block and I delete your number because I ain't got time for nonsense, because I'm never going to be put through that again. Where the red flags were ignored, many a time. So now I'm choosing myself to a point where you don't fit what I'm had in mind, or there's just one thing that puts me off. Adios, amigos. Yeah, because I am putting myself first. Obviously, my sons are also priority, but on that list, I'm right up there.
Yeah. Okay, we've run out of time. So in closing, if you write a book about the season that you are in now, what would you quote it? What would you name it?
The book title.
No, actually not. Okay, give me a book title now and a book title when you debuted the cheesecake online. What would you title that book when you debuted yourself and your family got cheesecake?
That title would be, I guess, Khatful.
Yes.
The title now would be The Process of Refinement.
Diamonds. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much, Mommy, for your time. Really appreciate it. You were sick. You were busy. You were going through the most. You were businessing. Life was just going on and on and on. But you made time for me, and I truly appreciate it. And you guys, we are drinking Marula Cheesecake Liqueur this September, going into December. Okay? So, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next episode from myself and Sonia both. It's bye.
Goodbye.